How you doing? It's Brennan with Quackpack here, and today's Firearm Friday. We are going to be talking about where all this fucking rounds falling at my feet. That's stupid of me. Today on our Firearms Friday, we're going to be talking about the M1903 service rifle for the U.S. Army. It's called the 1903 Springfield, but there were different makers of it, so we're going to get into that a little bit today as well. Introducing the latest sensation from Genesee, Black Cherry Vanilla Keller Beer. Crafted with the finest ingredients and hints of black cherry and vanilla for a refreshing twist. Taste the flavor of that in-between summer and fall season in every sip. Our harmonious blend of smooth vanilla and vibrant black cherry perfectly balanced in every sip. Genesee Black Cherry Vanilla Keller Beer, where every sip is a celebration. Discover the flavor, available until October of this year. This bolt-action rifle was made in 1903. And was a service rifle for the U.S. Army from 1903 to 1936. After that, from 1936 to the 1970s, this was still in service as a sniper rifle for the U.S. Army, but was not the main service rifle. In 1936, this was replaced by the M1 Garand, which obviously was a far superior rifle. Semi-automatic, 8-round clip, all that good stuff. So we'll do a video on that as well. But right here, Springfield 1903. It's got a 5-round magazine, internal, nothing on the bottom, but internally fed for that. It's bolt action, and it's for the service, it's a repeating rifle. Mostly saw use in the first half of the 20th century, so 1900s, 1950s. Really up to the 1970s, there was very limited use in Vietnam and stuff like that. 43.2 inches in length with a 24-inch barrel length. This gun was pretty effective up to 2,800 yards is its max range. Its effective range was 300 to 500 yards. The earlier iterations of this gun were chambered in, this gun is 30 caliber. It is chambered in 30-03 and 30-06. So the 30-03 Springfield was made in 1903 for this gun. They developed a second iteration of that round in 1906. So that's where that .06 comes from. For that round. It's a 30 caliber round, and this is what it shoots right here. And that was made in 1906 is this style. Pretty big caliber here. I mean, that'll definitely put something down. It was just a better round in the .06 as opposed to the .3. There were a couple different variations of this gun. There was a variation where besides this 5-round box mag, it had a 25-round magazine, and that was for air crews. As a backup for if your machine gun jammed, you'd have a 25 round box mag that you'd be able to then use, this bolt action gun in a plane instead of a machine gun. Kind of interesting on why they would do that. I don't know why. I guess bolt action was the way to go. So the different variations of this gun was the 1903 was the base model, the M1903. Then you had the 1903A3, which had a different rear sight system. It actually put rear sights here, and they were more like the kind that you would see on an M1 Garand. So just a little bit different. You had the later iterations had what's called the scant stock, which is kind of like a pistol grip coming down. So a little bit different there. And then you had the 1903A4. It had a Type C stock and an M84 scope. So there was a couple different manufacturers of this during wartime. And as we're kind of getting into wartime rifles, which you're gonna see, which is, I think is a very interesting fact, is that you'll see companies that are not normally manufacturers of firearms producing firearms. So, the last video that I did that had the Husqvarna pistol, Husqvarna actually started out as a firearms manufacturer in the 1600s. So they've been steeped in tradition of firearms. This was created, by Springfield. It was also made during wartime. Obviously, all these companies that they had this demand that they needed to make it. So Rock Island Arsenal was a U.S. government Army-run arsenal. So they created them, as well as Remington Arms. So you can find some that are stamped Remington Arms. And actually, kind of the most interesting one that I would like to get my hands on one, Smith Corona. If you're familiar with Smith Corona, they make typewriters. So, old typewriters, Smith Corona. And during wartime, they did their part, and they started manufacturing these 1903s. Going over this rifle, Would come with a bayonet. This is the original bayonet that was issued with this gun. Sheath has seen better days. That's the bayonet. So pretty good condition. A note for bayonets, and I don't know if it's all of them, but I believe it's most historical bayonets. Your bayonet should not be sharp. It should not have enough of an edge here to cut. If it does, it means that somebody sharpened it. They were not made to be cutting tools. They were made to do one thing and one thing only, and that was to stab. So they had a sharp point, but this tip here was, you can feel it sharpened, but it is not razor sharp that it should cut you. And again, if it is, it means that somebody went and sharpened these. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking for older bayonets and you find an old M1 bayonet or anything like that, and it's razor sharp here, somebody sharpened it, and it should not be. If you're looking for something like all original, it shouldn't be sharp. Just a heads up. And we can kind of go through this as well. The markings on the base of this bayonet, if you look through it, I'll tell you where it is. So it was made in the US. The bomb indicates that it's made somewhere. And then the PAL as well. So this was original with this original sheath. It would lock in place. So once it was in, you couldn't get it out. You have to hit this little button here to pull it out. And it'd be the same thing once it's attached to your rifle. So it would slip over the barrel and it would attach here on the bayonet lug and it would lock in place. This is also the original sling that came with it. Sling could be adjusted by these metal points here. If you flip this up, you could adjust it this way. And then this one would be just a traditional loop where you'd push up and do it like that. This guy down here, right, that's your bayonet lug. This right here was not for anything with a sling mount. This was for stacking rifles together. So if you had two more rifles that had this, you could loop them together and then you would see them standing up. So if you ever look back on pictures or in old movies and you see like teepees of rifles, that's what that's from, is they can hook them together like that and stand them up and keep them up, out of the conditions, out of the ground, the mud, all that good stuff. So fun little fact for that. Front blade sight, non-adjustable. There's a couple cool things about this. So it had a multi-part, the 3-position safety. So this is, and we'll show, this gun is clear. There are dummy rounds at the bottom. So with this, the gun is hot. If you go up one, it's got to be cocked. If you go up one, so it's sticking straight up, your bolt can still cycle, but your trigger does not work. So you could still cycle your action. You could remove a round if you needed to. You could load another round if you needed to, but you could not shoot your gun. From here all the way over, it locks your action and it locks your trigger. And you'll see this on a lot of the older style World War rifles, where it'll have a 3-position safety, where this is full access. This will just lock the trigger, but let you work that action. And then going all the way over will completely lock the action and the trigger. This was also meant, and you'll see this on a couple rifles, if it's got this switch, it's a good indicator that it will have what they call like a volley mode. Because back in the early 1900s, when they started making repeating rifles, they thought that they would still do volley fire like they did in the Revolutionary time. So with this down, with you fully cycling, we'll go back, fully cycling that action, you can see it's not feeding any rounds in that magazine. So you could shoot your gun, you would then pull it back, load another round in, wait for the command to shoot again. Again, like Revolutionary times. Ready, aim, fire. Load your new round. And then when they would give you, you know, the all clear to release fire and shoot at your own will, you could flick that switch up. So now you're in the on position. And what that would do is that lets you work that bolt just a little farther to be able to get that next round in, to be able to feed that. So pretty interesting as far as that volley fire goes. So like I said, it is a 5-round box fed magazine. It is internal, so it is not, you know, there's no detachable mag or anything like that, but it is all internal. What I would like to talk a little bit about, I think it's one of the more interesting things about this rifle, is the sight system on this. So this was called a Type 4 rear sight. It was meant to be used as a ladder sight, and if we look at it, there's a couple different sights to actually use. So this was your volley fire sight up top, okay? You would have your sight right here, a peep sight here, your field peep sight. You would then have this little peep sight here, and then this circular peep sight as well. So you had a lot of options as far as this. Your standard ramp sight. So this peep would be good, I believe, up to 300 yards. And then any of these, you know, you could adjust. This would adjust up to 2850. And the way these work is the short lines are 25 yards. The middle lines, you know, the medium length lines are 50 yards. And then the full length lines that go the full length are 100-yard increments. So as you see, the odd numbers are on the right, the even numbers are on the left for your yardages. You could also adjust your windage with this screw. So this screw, and again, it's kind of hard to see, but up here, you've got you know, an indicator showing where that is. Based on how you turn this screw, it would adjust your sight accordingly. And every line on this full length of adjustment was 4 inches one direction at 100 yards. So if you went 2 lines over, it would shift your point of aim 8 inches at 100 yards. So it's compounded obviously further than that. You know, if you're shooting 300 yards, it would be farther than that. So but that's this gun. This Type 4 sight was pretty interesting. There's a line on that bottom peep, and that would be where that yardage is that you would set it. So if, say, I wanted to set it for 400 yards, I would lower it to 400 and I would tighten it. And then from there, you could actually kind of use every other sight as it is. So that basic peep, again, is pretty good from 100 all the way up to 2,300 yards. And again, you're not going to be shooting lights out at that range, but again, you know, that's what they're saying. This open ramp V is kind of your standard, not much different than this. This is called your open field sight. So you'd be able to actually peek up through that, and that would kind of give you your visibility. This as well. And then again, this would be your volley sight. So depending on where you, you know, aligned this is what yardage you'd be looking at. So pretty versatile sight. It's called the ladder sight. Again, the Model 4, excuse me, Type 4 ladder sight for the 1903. This one's serial number is 318718. Pretty good condition. A note on these: if you have a low year serial number, you have to be careful with the type of rounds that you shoot out of it, because it was made with single heat metals, and they just are not strong enough to take modern cartridge strength. So just be careful with that. Look it up. There are some people that make lighter loads made specifically for this, but just keep that in mind. And be mindful when you're taking care of these guns. Be very mindful. You know, put in a good round. See how demure that is. Things like that. So this is a good gun. Again, this is the size of the round that you'd be shooting out of it. Pretty big in comparison to our Genesee Oktoberfest. It's a good beer. So a little bit longer one today, but I did want to kind of make sure I talked about that sight, because I did think it was interesting that it wasn't just a standard ramp site or anything like that. I do want to thank you guys for watching these videos. This was historically my lowest viewed type of content when I first started. You know, I'd have like 13 views on a video, and the average view duration would be like 40 seconds on like a 9-minute video. So it's gone up from there. So I really appreciate that. I'm glad it's kind of taking some traction. It's something that I like. I really like, especially these. Besides the Quackenbush guns, I really do like these old historic wartime firearms. So we're gonna have a decent amount of them. So I just want to thank you guys kind of for sticking with me on it, watching, liking, commenting, all that good stuff. I hope you guys like it. Glad you guys like it. I know there's some people out there that really do enjoy Firearm Fridays. Samo, thank you for being my #1 Firearms Friday fan. Jay, I know you're the all-over Quackpack fan, but you know, I thank you guys for watching it. We're over 300 subs now, and pretty interesting. Something that just started as a kind of like a family thing, just me goofing around, has turned into this. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm Brennan with Quackpack. This is the M1903. This particular one's made by Rock Island Arsenal. See you guys in the next one. Alright guys, thanks for watching today's video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click that little bell to get notified whenever we post a video.